Right, hello and welcome to some more Star Citizen. Prosperity through larceny. Today we are talking to WTFOSaurus, streamer, host of Redacted, recent MVP, and leader of the global piracy organisation Overdrive, to name but a few of his many titles. Hello, Saurus.
Howdy doody.
So, tell me more about your organisation, Overdrive. I know it's a medium-sized pirate organisation with around 450-ish members.
Yes.
But what is Overdrive about?
Overdrive is, like you said, it's a medium-sized pirate organization. We actually started as a small organization. I wasn't going to go over 100 members. When I first got into it, I thought I was going to keep it a lot smaller when I first started. But I saw the interest, and there's not very many pirate organizations out there. I think a lot of people think that, oh, they're all over the place, and there's some really big ones and everything. One of the things that I wanted to do was I wanted to challenge myself a little bit, and do some of the more difficult, what I think are going to be more difficult things to do in Star Citizen, and a lot of that is going to include piracy. Now, saying that doesn't mean that Overdrive and all of Overdrive and everybody's affiliated with Overdrive is just about pirating. I think for any organization, ones that accept pirates or not, for them to be successful are going to have players that are going to want to do all facets of the game. I think that if you focus on just one specific thing, whether it be trucking or mining or bounty hunting or piracy or anything like that, I think that if you focus on one thing, you're going to lose out on the experiences of everything else in the game. And we don't really know what is going to be the most profitable yet. We don't know what is going to be the most fun, right? A lot of the game design we still haven't played yet. You know, we're playing Arena Commander and racing, but I don't want to limit myself to not being able to do piracy. And normally that kind of stuff, to me anyways, is the most fun. So that's why I guess Overdrive is labeled piracy and smuggling, because I guess it sounds badass, and it's going to be more fun and is going to be more challenging. Yeah, I think I answered the question.
Profit and fun through any means necessary.
Right, basically profit through any means necessary, exactly. You know, if that means that mining is the best thing to do, and then,
sorry guys,
yeah.
in Overdrive, we're changing to mining. I know you wanted to kill people.
No, well, this is the thing, right? So if that's the case, then maybe, you know, a lot of people will focus on that, instead of going and hunting down cargo routes or whatever, if that makes more sense. But that being said, if a cargo route happens to go through where we are, I'm not going to say, oh, shucks, there goes a whole bunch of UEC. We better leave it alone, right? I don't want to limit myself to that. And so I figured it'd be a lot easier to label myself as, quote unquote, the bad guys of the universe and be able to do whatever we want than to say, oh, we're totally against this and whatever, especially when we don't know what those mechanics are.
So is there going to be a code of conduct which you hold players to?
Yes, we have that already. Well, it's a rule set that we have, right? So depending on how you apply to Overdrive, whether you're applying, we have basically two sections, right? We have our soft core and we have our hardcore guys. So the soft core is there for affiliates, people who visit the stream and want to hang out, and maybe necessarily don't want to dedicate themselves to piracy, but they still want that comfort of knowing that I'm not going to rip them apart in the universe. So under our manifesto, we have our general rules. So things like whether you're playing hardcore or non-hardcore, things like what role you want to take in the organization is a main role. Obviously, everybody can do anything that they want. But if, say, for example, you want to do something that's a lot more combat-oriented as a main primary role within the organization, that's going to be limited to people who are hardcore, right? For the people who are non-hardcore, you can do whatever you want. And if you want to do some sort of, maybe you want to be a fighter pilot backup or something like that, if a hardcore player can't make it, then that's fine. We will have primary, secondary, and tertiary roles for everybody, and everybody, I want everybody to play how they want to play. Affiliates, however, will never be privy to the same amount of information as main players. And even more so, hardcore players who are there and doing everything. Like, that's the big thing, right, is the information. Things on jump points, things on any internal information that we have, any information we have on other organizations, anything that's going to help benefit the organization or could possibly tear it down from the inside. That stuff is going to be limited based on a need-to-know basis.
So is there anything that players can join in now with? You mentioned forums and voice-com servers.
Right.
So are there planned events and stuff like that as well? Or
yeah, so there's been a couple planned events that we've tried to do before. Once again, we do little things like you mentioned I got MVP yesterday, actually. So we did that video. So what I did is I sent out a message to, we have a Steam group as well. I sent out a message to the Steam group saying, hey guys, sent out a Twitter saying, hey guys, let's all get together, let's do a video. We do, little fun things here and there, and it will be, the guys that are in my Overdrive will get priority over that. When we do ship training days, which we've done a few of those in the past, flight schools or whatever, that is specifically for Overdrive. So I send out a message to those guys and say, hey, look, we're doing this on this day. If you guys want to come and join, feel free. If you want to come and even just watch or ask questions or whatever, we have that. We do have the team speak. The other thing, too, is just the stream in general, right? The stream, and that's the whole reason the stream has gone to a 24-hour channel, is so people can jump in at any point in time, whatever their time zone is or wherever they are in the world, and be able to come in and ask questions about Star Citizen, or come in and ask questions about the organization, or catch up on information, or do whatever I can. And I mean, that even goes beyond the organization, but...
So, as you mentioned there, you're a professional streamer. Can you tell me more about your stream and how much Star Citizen I can see there?
Yeah, so I stream Star Citizen every day. I'm live at 1 p.m. PST, 8 p.m. GMT. I've been streaming Star Citizen for around 500 days in a row now.
Oh my god!
Yeah. Since before Arena Commander was out, I was streaming the fish tank, and
those were long dark nights.
Actually, you know what? It was quite amusing because that was right up until Arena Commander first was coming out, and I remember I checked it first because I had just recently got the game. I'm a later backer, and I was checking it out and talking to some people and stuff like that, and I thought, hey, this is pretty cool. People are sitting here and watching this person's fish tank or whatever. So I would jump on after that and just do the same thing and just walk around, show my hangar, answer questions for people, because when I get into something, I don't stop reading about it. So, share as much information as I knew to anybody who asked, or point them at least in the right direction. And so that's sort of what got started me streaming in Star Citizen. And then one of my goals eventually is to do like a streamer house where we have multiple streamers in the house, and it's sort of like a whole environment where it's fun and we do stuff together, not just on stream, but outside of the stream as well. And just sort of more of like a big brother type thing. It's something I've always wanted to do. But in the process, I was new to streaming. Before this, I'd never done any streaming or anything like that. And in the process, I look at things like, okay, what are the logical steps here? And one of the steps for me was, okay, I would like this to go to a 24-hour stream. And up until recently, we would just do things like I would have some of my previous played videos or whatever, my highlights, I guess, playing on the stream while I wasn't live. and people could come in and talk. And I gave my channel a vote and said, would you guys like me to do this? We can run it for, I think we ran it for a week over the holidays, over the Christmas holidays that just passed, and said, hey, okay, this is what I want to do. We're going to do a dry run here, a little beta test, if you will, before we move over to 24 hours, and you guys let me know if you like it or if you don't like it, and we go from there. And the response from that was overwhelmingly positive. So I said, okay, let's do this. They liked the fact that they can go somewhere else that wasn't necessarily an official outlet for CIG, but they knew focused on Star Citizen. And then just recently, it was actually Twerk17, another streamer, someone who's part of my stream team and co-host of our Star Citizen podcast, who brought up to me that Twitch is a video platform and that it would make sense that if I treated it more like a TV station instead of a radio station. And my mind was blown. I couldn't believe that I didn't think of that myself. And so just recently, over the past week and a half, we've started moving into what I like to call, or what I've branded as Saurus TV, which is Star Citizen information 24 hours a day. We run Star Citizen podcasts, so we have Redacted, we have Starcast on there right now. We have commercials for other Star Citizen content creators like Twerk17, yourself, Gray-Headed Gamer, and we're going to be more in there as well. I'll be playing some of your videos even on there. Well, I have some of my little highlights in there. We have the official ship commercials in there. I might be putting some more lore stuff in there, and that's something I want to work on in the near future. But something I noticed about Star Citizen and switching to other games and streaming other games is the community. And the community is very awesome. And one of the biggest things that I've noticed going from this game to any other game, and you know, I play a lot of Arma, I've played games like Agario or Grand Theft Auto or Arcade and things like that, is the general viewer base. And this may change, but the general viewer base right now is a little bit older than your average Twitch watcher, I guess, right? You could say you don't get the ridiculousness that you would in, say, an Agario stream, which, believe me, gets ridiculous. So one of the things is a lot of people are used to terrestrial TV, and I think an easy way of doing it is having it so instead of me being live 24/7, which is just physically impossible, but still be able to run the 24-hour channel, is to have my section of the stream just be its own show within the channel as a whole. So the channel is bigger than just myself. My channel, I'm trying to make into Star Citizen content from all over, from all different content creators, and try and bring everybody together for that, and have my own live show that will obviously get longer as we get more into the game. But for right now, you know, we show things like Around the Verse. We show the latest episodes of 10 for the Chairman. Like I said, Redacted, Starcast. I'm hoping to get some other podcasts out there. You know, I'm putting feelers out there to get more things in there. So people, both people who know about Star Citizen and those who don't know about Star Citizen, can just tune in at any given time and learn about the game, right? Or catch up on something maybe they missed in a format that's comfortable to them and is still entertaining and is focused on the one thing that they're there to be focused on. Does that sentence make sense? Probably not.
It does. Star Citizen. You could just replace that with Star Citizen, but yes, it made sense to me. You mentioned there that you host, along with Twerk17, Redacted.
That's correct.
Which is your weekly-ish Star Citizen podcast. Can you tell me more about all that?
Yes, so Redacted is a podcast that we do every Wednesday at 1 p.m. PST, provided that we are not dealing with flight delays or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
So as long as we both can be there, then we'll do that. Or if we have enough heads up, like for this past one was super long because the one before that we missed because Twerk had some flight delays and stuff like that. I didn't have time to get somebody else to host it with me, so we skipped it and did a doubly long one the next time. But it is something that happens every Wednesday at 1 p.m. PST. We go over all kinds of stuff. We go over a specific ship, what its benefits and weaknesses are, all of its statistics that we know of at the moment, even though we know all of that stuff changes, what kind of roles it is, how you can get it, what kind of player would like it. We answer questions about it. And that's just one part of the question, or one part of the podcast, rather. We have a section, and that's called Starship Showcase. We have a section that we talk about weapons and things about the lore of the manufacturer, things about how well the weapon's performing right now in Arena Commander, how much it costs, how much it is to rent, what we think good loadouts are for that. We talk about all the current news in Star Citizen. So anything that was on Around the Verse or 10 for the Chairman, we basically put that out in layman's terms, or give people our opinions on what some of this stuff means, because some of it can be fairly in the gray area, right? Sometimes some of the stuff that CIG puts out there can be confusing to some people, or maybe misunderstood, or maybe just not very clear. So we try and take that and give as concise and as clear information in regards to that as we possibly can. We also have a section called Occupational Hazard, where we talk about different mechanics or different jobs in Star Citizen and what they entail and things like that. So when we get a post on electronic warfare, for example, we can go into that in more detail, and we can even do some sort of theory crafting a little bit, or sometimes we go into a little bit vapidity, like what we would like to see in the game, or what we've seen other people's reactions in the forums or on Reddit or on Twitter or in our streams, what people think about that, or if there's any sort of like hot topics, things like that, any sort of arguments. So a big one for that lately has been the Cutlass, right? We all know that the Cutlass is going back in. They just gave us a feedback thread for 2 weeks, or for 2 days, sorry, and are going to take a look at that and giving it Foundry 42, and they may rework that from the beginning. And so we go over things like that, what our thoughts are on that, and everything else. So those are kind of most of the things that we cover. And then at the end, we do a lot more of the theory crafting stuff and answering questions that people have, whether they're questions for Star Citizen, about news, about what we think of something, or even if they're personal questions directed towards us as streamers.
What ships do you personally have, and what are you looking forward to the most ship-wise?
Okay, so the ships that I currently have, I have a Mustang Omega from the AMD promotion. I have a Cutlass Blue, a Cutlass Red, a Cutlass Black. I have a Herald and a Caterpillar, as well as a Super Hornet. My Super Hornet is probably not going to stay. And depending on how the Cutlasses work out, because they're changing the way the variants work, and with the modules and things like that, I may or may not stick with all three of them, or it depends on if it makes sense to stick with all three. You can only fly one ship at a time. Mm-hmm. Originally, I was only going to start with one ship. I'm pretty sure everybody was only going to start with one ship. And that was the Cutlass Black. That was the first ship that I pledged for. And yeah, I really, really like Drake's aesthetic. And I really like the fact that Drake is sort of more on the piracy side of things. So I was like, you know what? Let's go with Drake ships. Oh, how did I blank on the glaive? I also have 2 glaives as of right now, but I will be giving one of those away. So my very favorite ship manufacturer in the verse so far is the Vanduul. Vanduul ships are amazing. They have a H.R. Geiger feel to them. They very much feel like the bad guy aliens that they are. I really, really, really like the design choices on those. But my second favorite would be Drake. So that's why I literally have all of the Drake ships that are available right now. And any other Drake ships that come out, I will get one of those as well. So if we do get the Dragonfly, which they've hinted towards, then I'll get one of those. If the new Corvette turns out to be a Drake ship, then I will most likely get one of those. So that's sort of where I'm sitting on with that. I got the Omega because it was super cheap, and I got the Glaive because it was the first opportunity that I've had as a backer since I've joined to get a Vandal ship. So I jumped on. I was one of the first people to get that. So I jumped on that right after Gamescom. They announced that that's what they were doing, and we cleared it first try. So and then I went and bought it. So I was like, I need this. It's limited. I'm getting it now. So those are the ships that I have.
So I suppose that you kind of also like Aspera as well, then, because they're going to be doing the replicas. Of
yes, yeah. So Asperia does the replica of the Glaive. Now I don't know if they have their own style of ships or if they just make replicas. Now with the Glaive, we're going to go into a little bit of lore here. The Glaive is actually made out of actual Vandal ships, sort of glued together with human technology, right? Human glue, if you will. So it's not really a replica in the sense that it's like, oh, this is what it looks like. We're going to make our own that looks exactly the same. So I'm not really sure how Asperia fits in yet. We haven't seen too many ships. Like I'm really curious to see the Prowler, which is a boarding ship. Obviously, as a pirate in general, boarding is attractive to me. And we haven't seen ships from, I forget who the Prowler is. The Prowler a replica, or is it their own?
No. I believe Aspera Prowler is its own ship.
Yeah, so I haven't seen what their style is yet, so I can't really speak on that yet. There's a lot of ships out there now that I like and that I'm going to get in the game. I'm just not going to back for them because I don't like the aesthetics of them or something like that.
I think from looking at Aspera's stuff, what they normally do is they look at they kind of replicate stuff, and I think that's a Terravan or Tervaran replica of a boarding ship ish. I think they have edited it heavily, so it's its own ship.
Yeah.
But with that being said, many more ships than one. There, I think you have 8 ships.
I have 8 ships. Yes.
You better hope they don't release a super destroyer that's Drake.
Right? Yeah, I know. That's what I said. It's like, and one of my friends and well known in the Star Citizen community, Clifford.
Cliffy.
Yeah. Oh, Cliffy. You know, I talk to them quite often outside of the stream, and I keep telling him, look, I want a Drake Corvette, and I don't want a Drake Corvette at the same time, right? I want it because it would be awesome, and it would be my main ship. But I don't want it because my wallet, like I've already spent way too much, and I'll continue for the channel and everything, but oh my gosh, it's so much money. Right.
So, with that being said, what module or mechanic are you most looking forward to for Star Citizen?
Oh man.
You can only choose one.
You're gonna make me choose one. Hey, I can't like a top 3.
Nope. You have to choose one.
I think the biggest thing for me is going to be the boarding mechanic, because there's so much involved with that, right? And this is my way around picking only one, by picking the boarding mechanic. Because with boarding, there's going to be so much that you need to do to even get to that stage, right? And then let alone after you've got on that stage. It includes FPS, it includes dogfighting, and it includes electronic warfare, right? Right there. And those, I think, are my top 3 that I'm looking to do. So I would say, as a whole, boarding is the mechanic I'm looking forward to the most. I'm really looking forward to, like, I'm super excited that they went to this new damage model, that it feels like, or it sounds like, that you're going to be able to punch holes in the side of a ship pretty much wherever. Whereas before, that wasn't something they were going to do. It was going to be, set here or here. So just that alone is really exciting to me. And just sort of hanging out, and I mean, this would be something else, but it is something I'm very excited for, and it's going to sound really boring. But this is something I'm really excited for. It's just hanging out with my friends and the rest of my org mates, waiting for that, waiting for an ambush or on the way to go do something, and be able to just hang out in our ships and walk around and do stuff. That's what sold me on the game, was when I heard that you could walk around on the ship while it's moving and maneuvering through space, and it has its own physics grid and own gravity grid within the ship as outside the ship, and you can see in and out. Like my guilty pleasure for what I want to do, and it's not been confirmed whether we can do it or not yet, is I hope that there's a mechanic where we can watch YouTube videos, or we can watch streams, or we can do that on a display within our ship with people in the ship with us. And I'm going to look forward to those long journeys where we can sit there and watch some Board Gamer YouTube videos, right? Or we can go and watch a Twerk 17 stream while we're doing something in the game, right? Like we can do those things together, and to a lot of people, I think that might sound really boring, because it's just, you're not really doing anything. You're just sitting there. It's like, why don't you just watch YouTube on another screen? It's kind of outside the point. It's more about that immersion within Star Citizen that I'm really, really looking forward to.
Breaking the fourth wall of immersion. I like it. So this is a chance to plug yourself, Saurus. Plug yourself. Where can people find more about your stream, org, what you do? Where can they find out about you?
There's a lot of places where you can find out more about me. Twitch.tv/WTFOSaurus is the #1 place. The channel's 24/7. Even if I'm not live, I'm usually lurking in the channel there, and I'll try and answer people as quickly as possible. BecomeTheDarkness.com, or if you search Overdrive within the orgs directory on the Star Citizen page, is where you can find the organization. If you have any questions about that, feel free to message me. You can either message me directly through Twitch chat, or even PMs. I read all of my PMs every day, and I keep up with all those. So if you have any questions, whether they're for myself, the stream, the organization, what my favorite color is, whatever, it doesn't matter, send me a message, and I do my best to get back to everybody on that. I also have a Twitter. I'm at WTFOSaurus everywhere. That's the beauty of this name. Nobody else has it. So I'm WTFOSaurus on Twitter, WTFOSaurus on Twitch, and Ryan Saurus on YouTube, because YouTube's naming conventions are weird. I'm WTFOSaurus, and I'm a Star Citizen.